Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jane. This is my channel, Jane Bolante Art. I was gifted this cool stencil from my friend Royce from RoyCycled Treasures, and I was gifted it during the Mixed Media Mystery Box Challenge where I had to open up a box and create something live. And everybody wanted me to use that stencil, but I did not have a surface big enough at the time. So I promised I would use it this week. And so I'm going to show you how this all came together. I hope that you will stay and watch the video. All right, so I have this sewing pattern and I ripped this piece out so I was going to do something else with it, but I decided to put it on here. So I just have a piece of watercolor paper and I am going to decoupage this on with my soft gel. All right, so you can see I collaged some in, and I love how that just gives a little bit of a different visual interest. And so I'm just grabbing some other pieces where I can do that. And I'm also, there's a lot of horizontal and vertical, so I am using that for repetition. So I'm just filling in the white spots too. This gel gets really sticky and sticks to your fingers, so sometimes this doesn't go on perfectly, and that's okay. That's a little bit sideways. Don't stick to yourself. I love how the wrinkles look like veins. I don't know, I just think that's really cool. Yet another fun little mark. I just pulled off too much. And the tissue, it really does stick to your fingers, so just be careful. This gets a little bit messy. All right, so this needs to be dried, and then I am going to put a coat of, I think I'm going to do the force field on this because this tissue is just really fragile. So let me dry this. I'm going to dry it with my heat tool. I'm not going to get it too close because this will bubble up. And then I'm going to put a coat of the force field on. All right, so instead of taking, because this is so, not flimsy, but because it's watercolor paper and not like a hard surface, I am just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim the excess off the sides. So, and some of it's kind of stuck to the back. I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to sit and work that off, is what I mean. It can stay there. Because this will either get mounted onto something or it can get put in a frame. I actually think it might look kind of cool on like a, maybe like a palette board. All right, so I have this Moss Effect paste. There will be a link for this in the comments. This stuff is super cool. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of layer it back and forth with a spatula. So I don't really think it matters what, if you do the light color first or if you do the dark color first. I just want to get good blend of both. Okay, I dried this part with my heat tool so that I can layer this right on top. Layer down a little bit more, I think. I think that's going to be kind of cool. I don't want her necessarily her hands. If I tilted her a little bit. That one's going to kind of come over this a little bit, but that might be okay. And then I'm thinking about putting that crown on. I feel like maybe she's too high. Maybe she doesn't need a crown. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I have a whole bunch on here already, so I'm just going to start with that. What is underneath here? Why is that doing that? Okay. So I have a little bit of a smudge down here, and I'm just taking the corner of my razor blade, and I'm just going to be really, really careful and just kind of try to scrape some of that back. All right, I have this, I think it's Dina Wakley tissue paper with all these little sayings on it. I'll make sure there's a link in the description, but I am going to put this on with the force field from Paint Pixie, because then this thing will have the same sheen throughout. And this tissue is just going to kind of melt into the background, so it should be kind of cool. See that? Oh, love that. Pretty. I'm just going to take a little brush here. I don't want to waste that, and I don't feel like sticking it back in the bottle, so it's all going to dry the same because it has the force field all over it. Okay, so I think I need to do one more thing, and I'm just going to do a very light wash of, I think I'm going to use a fluid acrylic. Thinking about using Titan Buff just to define this a little bit, and then I think this is done. All right, this is the Golden Fluid Acrylic Titan Buff. You can see that it is more of a translucent paint, which is what I want. I don't want it to be very dark here at all. Grabbing the star from the Turquoise Iris Magic Pack from Paint Pixie. And I'm just going to come in here. And just kind of color in the lines a little bit. Grabbing the Titan Green Pale. I just want to put a little bit of contrast. Just a tiny, tiny bit. All right, I'm trying to decide if I want to do color in the skin tones or not, and I kind of don't think I do. Okay, I love this right here, except I feel like it's too big, so I'm going to cut it a little bit. Maybe right there-ish. And then I have a little corner rounder. I'm not sure what will match, so I'm going to start with the smallest one. That's perfect. This thing is awesome. If you don't have one of these, you should get one. I'll put a link to it. And I like that better. So let me grab, I think I'm going to grab my Yoo-Hoo for this. I'm going to put a lot of glue on. And then I'm thinking about putting a little bit of the Moss Effect paste on top of this. This is a Tim Holtz, I think he calls them flashcards, and I got these. I think I got them at Joann's, but let's see where I want it. Like it here, kind of. Or do I like it here? I think I like it here. My eye just keeps going back to this spot. Got kind of dirty with this one. All right, I still felt like it needed something down here. It's a little blank right here, so I went in my stash of these patterns and found this, and there's a line coming right here, even though I put it on a little wonky right there. It doesn't matter, but I'm just going to have this be the extension of it, and then I think this is done. So just going to use the force field instead of getting back out the soft gel, because it's in front of me and it'll work just fine. Oh, that really helped. That helped a lot. I really like that. So basically, make sure this is on. I am just going to let this dry. I just smooshed it. I'm just going to let this dry, cut off the bottom, and then I think this is done. And it is really fun. What do you think? I love how it all came together. I will have links for you in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week, Friday.